Hello, welcome to today's broadcast. My name is Jana Masik, and I am here so happy to be with you and so very grateful for this platform that connects each one of us to new opportunities. So I'm here with my new friend, Elena, and Elena Anderson-de Lay. Hi, Elena.
Hi, Jana. Thanks for having me.
Yes, I am. I'm very excited to have you here. And in fact, our mobility connections connected us, right?
That's
And,
right.
now that I feel we've developed this new friendship, I'm very excited to get to know you a little bit more. And I would love for you to share with us your professional journey and how you come to mobility.
Thank you. Well, I started out as an immigration professional. I thought I would always be an immigration professional. Then, as a corporate individual, things changed organizational wise, and they thought that, well, since you're doing international things, surely global mobility fits right into your portfolio. And just like I established the immigration program, I was commissioned to establish a global mobility program. And I had to find partners that were in alignment with the company culture, as well as just finding a good price point for those services. So, in doing that, it was a challenge. And I take that experience now to my organization that I've now co founded.
Yes, well, this is wonderful story. It looks like you've transitioned from immigration to mobility, and now you are in a role where you have your own consulting firm. And I know we spoke a little bit earlier. You mentioned that your clients are small companies that may or may not have mobility function in-house, and they may or may not want to go out to a larger RMC structures. They just want to have a consultancy, and those are the perfect clients for you that can reach out to you and you provide support to them, right?
Absolutely. So I work with small and mid-sized or organizations with very lean teams that are trying to provide a high-level sense of service to their colleagues when they're transitioning them. So depending on what the needs are, it could be policy development. It could also be just advocating for their cost unit and to provide that narrative or that explanation that they are a value add to the organization and not just an expense. I can definitely empathize with them and provide great resources and help them align with service providers and partners that will help level up their program.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful, and it's very interesting that you've been in the corporate arena for many years, and now you are on the service provider role. And today's conversation that we have is bouncing back from a setback. And I would love for you to share your side of the story, how it played in this transition for you.
It is. So, with our theme and with the story that we shared with each other, I was at a point. So now I've established two programs for the organization, and things were going well. But then there were leadership changes, and lo and behold, organizational changes. And when the organization decided to not expand globally, but detract, and that eliminated my position. Well, thanks to the struggles that I had finding great partners, I had thought that, the industry is missing some key points. So many relocation management companies want like a high volume, or their business model is not set up to support smaller volume movers or just smaller clients. And I thought, what if I set up a business that kind of fulfilled this niche and provided a service, because it's not as if the caliber of employee was any lower at the
Mm-hmm.
other at smaller or mid-sized organizations. So
Yes.
therefore, I had this concept in draft mode for over 6 years, and it wasn't until the organizational change that I just took the leap and decided to establish a business entity My co-founder, Tyler Chakraborty, she kept me accountable and made sure that each and every week I did something that was progressive towards this goal. And I was still shy, but it wasn't until that day that I received the news that I said, oh, well, let me just launch the website and get things together and just move forward with that. I saw it as like a divine sign to let me
Mm-hmm.
know that, yes, this is where you need to go. And
Mm-hmm.
your efforts will be blessed, and what you have struggled through in preparing for the programs that you've already established, you will use that as a service to others.
Yes, I love this. I love this side of a story. And this is a wonderful example where, Elena, you may consider, when your job is dissolved and you are at this
Hmm.
where you are at a completely brand new start, right? It can be very unsettling, it can be very challenging, and I compliment you and commend you on taking this as an opportunity and say, I want to go for what I've dreamed about. And I'm sure that was not easy for you, and I'm sure you've had to overcome a lot of roadblocks. However, you chose to move forward with the things that were on your heart. So, and it ties in wonderfully about that in life. As we talked a little bit earlier, it's like a journey, right? And we think
Yes.
from our success maybe from point A to point B, a straight line, but as we've seen, there's a lot of notes that it's probably going to be a lot of variables and a lot of unknown areas that we have to go through. So as we cover this, I've come up with some of the 7 steps or 7 stages that Elaine and I would like to share with you, and we can talk through those stages. And maybe you find yourself being in one of those stages, and hopefully, as we speak through those stages and steps, you can consider the opportunities for yourself. You can find the ways where you can empower yourself, and you can find the ways to look for help and to move forward. So the first stage, Elena, we looked at is a stage of survival, right?
Yeah.
That's a challenging one, right? Share your thoughts on that stage.
When you're in survival mode, it's all about me. I feel like the victim. And
Mm-hmm.
when you're in that mode, it's very natural, it's very human to feel that way when when it feels like everything is against you.
Mm-hmm.
And with looking at this, that, okay, this is a journey. I have to learn a lesson from this. What am I supposed to learn from this? Not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily what do I need to apply it to, but when you are in that mode, it's changing your mindset makes all the difference.
Yeah. So survival to me is where you almost have how I experienced that in several areas of my life where I feel like it's hard to even move forward, even a step, even an inch.
Yes.
And, the biggest thing is don't give up. When you feel that you are barely surviving, I want to encourage you, don't give up. Never give up. There is going to be a way out. There is going to be a change. There is going to be something that's going to come your way that's going to help you through this. And as you progress through this, and the mindset that you mentioned, from changing your mindset from victim to taking the power back to yourself, the second stage or
Yes.
the second step that you probably would transition is a step of struggling, right? When you're
Hmm.
surviving, yeah, but you're feeling struggling, you're feeling stuck in your position, and you're not quite sure what's next. How would you elaborate on this, Elena?
Absolutely. So when you transition from survival to struggle, there's a push pull. So as while you're surviving, you're in fear, you're
Mm-hmm.
paralyzed, and you don't know where to move. When you realize that you need to claim this moment and move forward, there is a push pull. So sometimes people bounce back between those two stages. But once
Mm-hmm.
you're in struggle stage, this is when an attitude of gratitude,
Mm.
understand that I'm being tested. This is a test. This is a moment where I can acknowledge that I'm going to grow from this. So you
Mm-hmm.
can't, a tree can't grow tall and strong without a little wind.
Yeah.
And sometimes we have wind in our lives, and those of us who stand against it become even more fortified and even more able to withstand future challenges. So embracing struggle, because nothing ventured, nothing gained. If you haven't made an effort to step outside of what needs to happen in your life, if everything is easy going, you would never grow. And
Mm-hmm.
so looking at struggle as, again, a journey and a process, you will
Mm-hmm.
be able to have that perseverance to survive that moment as well.
Yes, I love this, and I love your analogy about the tree. So, as you could transition from this struggle and feeling stuck to, I think the next stage that will help you to progress and bounce back from this setback is really become more self-aware. And this is a step of self-awareness where you need to realize oh, you need to exercise self-care. You need to
Yes.
exercise and come with self-acceptance and actually fall in love with you. Sometimes we are more hateful toward ourselves than to other people. So self-awareness and self-acceptance are a crucial step that will accelerate you toward your success and what you want to achieve. What are your thoughts on this, Elena?
Absolutely. Just the most negative voice that you hear can be the voice that's within. So when you're struggling, that's when depression, anxiety set in. And when you start to love yourself, sometimes reaffirm yourself, and you have to vocalize uh, the things and qualities that people say about you. Because you can get a compliment from someone, and then that voice in your head can say, oh, she's being nice. He's just trying to, get something over. And being able to acknowledge that inner voice that of self-doubt is not working for you but against you, and to spend time to be mindful of that thought pattern is something that is very crucial. And it's not until you are still, and it's not until you carve out time for yourself and, like you said,
Mhm.
to love yourself, that's when you're able to sort all those things out. But if you keep running and never pause and take a breath, you will never have an opportunity to be self-aware and realize how amazing you are and reprogram that inner voice that's negative.
Yes, I love this. I love this, Elena. And something that I've learned when I was looking into learning about neuroscience is our brain is flexible, and our
Mhm.
patterns create a pattern, literally wiring our brain. So when we think about ourselves negatively, we wire our brain in this way. And sometimes we get this reprogramming from our childhood or the situations we've been in. However, it is within our power to redirect our thoughts and create a new pathways in our brain, which was very fascinating. So the quality of your thoughts about yourself are so important. And that will, self-awareness will bring you to the next stage, a stage of self-discovery,
Yes.
stage of where you discover your strengths. Maybe some of those were dormant. And how did it work out in your experience, Elena?
For me, I had to physically change some routines. I had to actively make a choice because, again, getting into that self awareness, you have to acknowledge things, but then when to do something about it, you also have to change those actions that are linked to those thoughts. Those actions are oftentimes habits. So if you go take the same route to the gym and maybe you take a different route, small things every day that you can do blindfolded, you may have to shift in order to rewire your brain, going back to your information about how the brain is wired. And once you discover it, celebrate the discovery and be very intentional about writing it down and sharing it with others. When you share moments of self-discovery, you help your friends and family discover things within themselves. And that oftentimes is that kind of builds a support system that reinforces the positive nature that you have around you. And it wasn't until I started, because I'm an introvert, so it's hard to like actively say what you're thinking, you're in your head. So for me to deprogram that voice and to really vocalize things to those around me help reinforce all those dreams and desires and many of my actions. Because even when you backslide, you have those around you to say, okay, we're trying to do things differently. Don't,
Yes.
stay in your habits. So then it becomes a self-fulfilling um, situation where you're able to continue to make progress and move forward.
Yes, I love this. And to me, the self-discovery part is also looking at your potential. It's
Hmm.
at where you can go, where you can grow. And in a way, it's dreaming. And I know you've mentioned that you've dreamed about establishing your own business for 6 years. So you've seen that vision, but there were certain things along the way that helped you to progress toward that vision. And that stage between where you discover your strengths and the stage between where you want to be is a stage of a sacrifice in a way where you
Hmm.
realize that you have to take a small steps. You can't just turn around overnight to the person you want to become. It does take some time, and it's sometimes you have to give up something valuable in order to achieve that dream and desire that you have in your heart. And what are your thoughts on that stage of sacrifice, how it plays out?
Oh yeah, definitely. Sacrifice is like realigning your priorities, and
Mm-hmm.
it's challenging at times because again, you're breaking habits
Mm-hmm.
and you are doing different things. But those around you who want you to be your best self will absolutely support you. So you may take time away from family and may refocus some of your energy in different areas. But for those who understand that this is a marathon and not a sprint, there will be the understanding that, a realignment now will pay off later.
Yes.
And in those moments when you communicate that, your support group will definitely say, aha, but don't be surprised with communicating that. And some people don't understand.
Yes.
They don't
Yes.
understand that, well, why can't you still have social time with me? Or why can't you
Mhm.
still make contributions, fiscal
Mhm.
contributions in that? Where it's like, no, this is the goal. I am realigning my finances, my time, my energy, and my space even to even facilitate this vision.
Yes.
And you may
Yes.
get, that's when criticism may step in, but you can't listen. You have to be very focused on what you'd like to accomplish.
Yes. And for me, I can share a little bit my personal journey. It is about 5 years ago. My husband and I realized that our finances are really completely out of in a chaotic situation, and
Hmm.
we started moving toward this goal of becoming more financial stable and becoming getting rid of a debt. And it's been a 5 year journey, almost a 5 year journey, where we had
Hmm.
a lot of tweaks and a lot of arrangements and a lot of sacrifice in a way. And we have to become consistent. At first, we start looking at our budget once a month. Then we start looking at our budget twice a week
Yeah.
together. Then we start looking at our budget consistently every weekend. And for me, it was changing the perception, and changing the habits, and it's also changing my numbing my uncomfortability in certain things with going and spending on things. So it's a process of sacrifice, but then you may fall back, but you need to bounce back right to your goal. And hopefully in the next few months, we'll be able to celebrate, to pay off all our debt, except for the house. That's going to be a great thing to do. So I want to encourage you listening, even if you're trying to move toward financial freedom, or you're trying to
Hmm.
towards your education or dreams, don't give up. get up, bounce back, and keep going. We're all in these different stages, and by encouraging each other, we can truly support each other and help each other to move forward toward the dreams that we have. So then once you've gone through this stage of sacrifice, you come to the stage of success. So you say,
Yes.
yes, I am debt free now. Or I've
No,
got
that
my
is something to
education.
be excited
Or
about.
yes, I've got my business. So what is it like to be in the stage of success? Whatever it means for each one of us, right?
It's always something that you would want to memorialize and note to yourself that at this moment in time, I was able to accomplish a goal. Because sometimes, through future obstacles, you will want to reflect back on this victory and also understand that success is a moving target. So now
Mm-hmm.
that I've established a business, now I want it to grow. And so
Mm-hmm.
there's another target, but I'm not going to not be in a moment of gratitude where because I asked for help and those who reached out and were very supportive of my efforts, I constantly remember that just not even 2 years ago, I was still dreaming. I was still in draft mode, and just the shock and awe of being able to get to this point. I wouldn't define it as success, but just, an area of accomplishment where,
Yes.
okay, let's build on this and, build for greatness. And in the end, you never know, it may inspire someone else with their idea, or I may
Yes.
actually be able to support other professionals in their livelihood. So with accomplishing one dream, oftentimes you come up with new dreams and
Yes.
new visions. And then lo
Mm-hmm.
and behold, within a short period of time, you are a very different creature and being than what you were before. Your thought process has totally been rewired, and you are just thinking differently about yourself and what you can do.
Yes, and that ties beautifully, Elena, in what you shared, that it is not a sprint. Our journey is a marathon. And I
Mhm.
firmly believe that the growth mindset is that all the way until our last day, we have an opportunity to grow. We have an opportunity to develop. We have a capacity to tap into our potential and grow as a person, and grow professionally. So, and successes, there may be small successes, there may be larger successes, and we need to celebrate them, and we need to, be excited and share our successes with others and inspire others to move toward their dreams and their successes. And the last stage, once you accomplish, as you move forward to bigger, larger things, it is a stage of sustainability. And looking at environmental sustainability, it's as a preserving the resources. Looking at the personal sustainability, it's preserving your energy. Uh,
Yes.
in doing things that will keep you in this stage that will be very productive, that you will know that you're distributing your energy toward the quality or areas to improve all of the areas of your life. How would you elaborate on this, Elena?
Yes, I would say, going to the adage of it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a full ecosystem to nurture a professional. And when there are moments of establishing yourself as a professional or making life changes, those around you and the tools around you are critical to help sustain that. So there are moments, again, in our marathon of life where you have to speed up. There are moments where you have to slow down. And then there are even moments where you have to take a knee and, recharge, re-energize, but never lose sight of what matters. In the end, it's one thing to be successful, but it's another thing to like be alone and not have a support system or family around you, because you can have success and everything around you can still crumble. And being balanced and well-rounded throughout the journey, being mindful through your journey helps the sustainability of what you've accomplished. And again, it takes constant reassessment, it takes constant navigation and self-awareness, all the previous things that we talked about in order for your success to be sustained for a period of time, maybe even generations. Because if you don't do that, then you haven't truly built something around it that's supportive. So think about your allies, your friends, and families. Oftentimes they may switch throughout time. The tools around you, the resources, do I align myself with this organization or that organization? What do I need to learn next? What are ways that I need to develop myself? All those different pieces support the end game that you're trying to achieve, whether it's being a better person or improving your organization or accomplishing like a great fiscal milestone, and that, being sufficient. And being sufficient is a level of freedom,
Yes.
so that you're free. And again, free and independence, that's a different mindset. So now that you have a new mindset, what do you do with it? And how do you empower others to come to where you are? How do you influence them? Because your liberation from debt could inspire someone to complete their education and liberate themselves, and being more courageous in some of the ideas and contributing to the body of knowledge in their field. So you never know who's watching. You also never know what you do. What you do can inspire others to do better for themselves.
Yes, these are wonderful points, Elena. And I completely agree with you. The sustainability, it is, yes, we start from within, right? It's a lot of
Mhm.
we need to do from within, but ultimately when we achieve what we see for ourselves, then to me it is expanding that success that you've created to others and supporting others and helping others to realize that they have opportunity, they have a potential, they have unique contributions, and that all of us, we do exist in the ecosystem and we are connected to each other. And by me achieving and maintaining, a certain level of success in one area of my life or another area of my life, may inspire you to do the same. And as we support each other in this, we can really make significant change in the world, I believe, and it all starts from within.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Wonderful. And to that, Elena, just the last point. So the way how we get connected is through Southeastern Regional Relocation Council, right? So we're looking
Yes.
to actually meet each other in person for the first time in just a couple of weeks. So I'm very excited for that.
I am too. We're going to talk about immigration and taxes in the year ahead in 2020, and provide more tips for the attendees. And hopefully we can share some of the tidbits or cliff notes from that session. But I'm
Yeah.
excited to open up the conference with you.
Yes, me too. So on this, if you're watching this video and if I've received some value from it, we're very excited to connect with you. Feel free to reach out to Elena if you need any support in your corporation's mobility needs, and also reach out to us if you have any questions. We're very happy to be here with you and to see you again next time. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.